Hello dear friends of third year prep. Today is your time with a new episode of your program مدرسة على الهوا. Today we are going to present a new unit which is unit 3. The title of unit 3 is Let's Go for a Walk. Before we begin our program today, I would like to greet Mr. صفوت. Hello,
Hi,
Mr. صفوت.
Hi, Mr. Muhammad.
I'm very happy to be with you again.
Me too.
Mr. صفوت, today we are going to present a new unit in the syllabus of third year preparatory, which is unit 3. The title of unit 3 is Let's Go for a Walk. As you know, Mr. صفوت, each unit has some new vocabulary, situations, and also grammar rules. So today we are going to present all these matters in unit 3. Mr. صفوت, from the title of the unit, Let's Go for a Walk, we can know that this unit is about how can we use language to make a suggestion, اللي هو تقديم الاقتراح.
Yes.
So let's begin with this point, because you know that this year we study a lot of important matters related to situation. احنا بندرس السنة دي situations, and you all know that in unit 1 we studied how to greet and how to take leave. In unit 2 we studied how to make a polite request اللي هو الطلب المؤدب. In unit 3 today we are going to study making a suggestion. So let's begin with how can we make a suggestion, Mr. صفوت?
Yes, Mr. Muhammad, we have 3 or 5 ways to make a suggestion. The first way is let's. So, as you know, let's plus infinitive full stop. Shall we plus infinitive why don't we plus infinitive why don't we plus infinitive okay, let's practice. As you know, let's is usually followed by infinitive. Shall we infinitive? Why don't we infinitive? Okay, so if I want to suggest going to the cinema, for example.
Yes, Mr. Safwat, let's is followed by the infinitive, so we can say let's go to the cinema. Let's go to the cinema.
Yes, but if I want to use shall we?
Yes, we can say, for example, shall we play football? Shall we play football?
Yes, that's right. So if I have why don't we?
Yes, why don't we go to a restaurant? Why don't we go to a restaurant?
Okay. As you know, Mr. Muhammad, we have 2 different ways.
Yes.
Okay. We have how about and what about. How about and what about. Both of these 2 ways are followed by verb plus ing. Yes, so let's write verb plus ing. So if I want to suggest going to the cinema using how about or what about, so how can we say that using these structures, Mr. Muhammad?
Mr. Safwat, we wanted to put these forms in the form of a question. We can try using let's, and we can replace it with what about or how about to make our students be accustomed to the form of the question. يعني احنا عايزين نعمل practice على الquestion ذات نفسه.
Okay.
We can say, for example, let's go to the cinema. Let's go to the cinema. Mr. Safwat, can you use what about or how about instead of let's?
Okay, so you mean we want to use this language function in rewrite?
Yes.
Okay, so rewrite rewrite the following sentence using the words in brackets to give the same meaning. This is the title of our question. Number 1, Mr. Muhammad. Let's go to the cinema. And we are requested to use how about or how. As you know, how is a question word. Okay? But before we answer a question like this, we have to know the meaning of the structure or the sentence we have. Let's, as you know, Mr. Muhammad expresses suggestion.
Yes.
So we are going to use how to express the same meaning. So we are requested to use how about. So how can we answer this question? How? Yes, very good. How about going to the cinema? So what's after how about? Verb plus ing. How about going to the cinema and then a question mark?
Mr. Safat, you know, it's very important to stick to the items of the exam. So I meant by this example to make our students learn how to use one way instead of another. We have used let's, or we have a sentence begins while let's, then we changed it by using how about.
Yeah.
To know how can we change the form of the verb, because as you have just mentioned, let's is followed by infinitive, but how about is used by is followed by verb plus ing. So Mr. Safat, now we have learned how to make suggestions using different ways. We have learned that we can begin our suggestion by using let's plus infinitive, shall we plus infinitive, why don't we plus infinitive, how about or what about plus verb plus ing.
That's right.
Mr. Safat, you know, when I make a suggestion, you must respond or you must reply. So now we are going to study how can we reply or respond to suggestions. You know that we can respond positively or negatively.
Yeah.
يعني عايزين نعرف ان احنا عندنا طبعا how to agree نوافق or refuse. يعني وعايزين طبعا ابنائنا الطلاب يتعودوا على الكلمات دي اللي هي agree, accept, refuse, disagree, positive reply, negative reply. So Mr. Safwat, how can we accept a suggestion? عايزين نتعلم قبول بقى الاقتراح.
Yes, we have many expressions to accept a suggestion. One of them is okay, let's go. Okay.
Yes.
Maybe of course, yes, or yes, of course.
Yes, there are many ways. For example, we can say okay, why not? We can say yes, let's.
I'd love to.
Yes, I'd love to. Of course, fine by me.
Yes.
يعني there, يعني Mr. Safat, can you write them down, please?
Yeah, okay.
Because we want our students to follow us and to write each word. يعني عايزين أبناء الطلاب يتابعونا ويكتبوا النقط دي. When we accept the suggestion, لما نقبل الاقتراح, we can say yes, let's. يعني برضو نتعلم على الكلمات اللي هي الجديدة accepting the suggestion اللي هو قبول الاقتراح. عندنا yes, let's.
Okay.
We can say okay, why not? Okay, why not? We also have a great idea, or that's a good idea. And of course, I'd love to.
I'd love to. Fine by me.
Yes, fine by me.
Yes,
so, Mr.
right.
Safwat, these are different ways to accept the suggestion. We have yes, let's, okay, why not? Great idea, that's a good idea. I'd love to, fine by me. Type, how can we refuse or disagree to a suggestion اللي هو ازاي بقى نرفض الاقتراح.
Yes, to express refusal, we have many different ways too. So the first one, let's write refusal. Number one, we can say maybe some other time. Maybe some other time. Number two, we can say I'm not very keen. I'm not very keen on that. I'm not very keen on that.
Yes, Mr. Safwat, we want to concentrate on keen on.
Yeah.
Mr.
It's very
Safwat, you
important.
have just written keen on. Keen on is an adjective.
Yeah.
It means I don't like something, or I don't have the desire. I don't have the desire to do something. يعني ما عنديش رغبة، اللي بنقول عليها keen on متحمس. فطبعا احنا ذكرنا دلوقتي من ضمن طرق الرفض اللي ممكن اقول I am not very keen on that. I'm not very keen on that. And at first you said maybe some other time. Maybe some other time. I think we can also say I don't feel like it. I
Yeah.
don't feel like it. Please, Mr. Safwat, yani, can you write this way of refusing? I don't feel like it.
Yes. Number three, I don't feel like it or that. Okay.
Can we say, Mr. Safwat, sorry, for example, sorry I'm busy?
Yeah,
Sorry,
I'm
I'm
busy,
tired.
I'm tired.
Yes, yani we can say sorry I am tired. So now we have mentioned three parts related to making a suggestion. يعني احنا دلوقتي ذكرنا ثلاث أجزاء متعلقين بتقديم الاقتراح. How to make a suggestion؟ قلنا نقدم اقتراح by beginning with let's plus infinitive. Why don't we plus infinitive? Shall we plus infinitive? What about or how about plus verb plus ing? Then we also have learned how to refuse and how to agree or how to accept. Accepting the suggestion, القبول الاقتراح. We say okay, why not? For example, we can say I'd love to, fine by me, yes,
Sure.
yes, sure, and so on. Good idea, great
Why
idea.
not?
Why not? Okay, why not? When we refuse, لما بنرفض قلنا بنرفض باستخدام sorry I'm busy, maybe some other time. We can say I'm not very keen on that and I don't feel like it. Mr. Safwat, can we give examples to the students to learn them how to use these ways during the exam?
Yeah. As you see, Mr. Muhammad, we have written this sentence. You have mentioned, I don't feel like that. Okay? So if we have a sentence like this one, and we're requested in a question like rewrite, we are requested to use, for example, keen. Okay? So how can we answer a question like this? Keen. As you know, we have a verb here, feel, and the verb is in the present simple. That's why we negated it using don't. But we're requested to use keen and to give the same meaning, but keen is an adjective. So we must precede it with be, verb to be.
Yes.
Okay? And then we have to follow it by the preposition on. So let's answer. Keen is an adjective, and it must be preceded by verb to be. I takes am, I am, but the sentence here is negated, so we must negate verb to be. So I have to say I'm not keen on that. I'm not keen on that. So both of the two sentences give the same meaning. I don't feel like that. I'm not keen on that.
Thank you, Mr. Safat, for this good example, because this example helps our students to know how to replace a verb with an adjective, or how to replace an adjective with a verb. يعني ازاي نستبدل صفة بverb. Mr. Safat, you made me remember another example which can give us a new vision on how to use the adjective instead of the verb. For example, when I say people don't like
Yes.
people don't like traveling
People.
to far places. People don't like traveling
Traveling
yes
to faraway places.
yes to faraway places. Mr. Safat, if you are asked to use interested,
Yeah.
which is an adjective, we all know that interested is an adjective.
Yes.
Yes, people don't like traveling to faraway places, and then we are asked to use interested.
Yes. As you said, Mr. Muhammad, interested is an adjective, so it must be preceded by verb to be. Okay? This is the first point. The second point is that interested is usually followed by the preposition in.
Yes.
Okay? So if I want to give the same meaning, I have to start with the subject. Our subject here is people. Then followed by verb to be. People take the form are. But here the verb is in the negative form, so we must negate verb to be. So we have to say people aren't interested. Interested in. This is a very important point. Interested is usually followed by the preposition in. Interested in. And then, as you know, after all prepositions, we usually use verb ing or a noun.
Yes.
Except two. So we have to put traveling as it is. To faraway places.
Yes.
The rest of the sentence.
Yes, Mr. Safwat, this example is very important because in different exams I find this example when we are asked to use keen on or interested in instead of the verb like.
Yeah.
So now we have learned that when we use the adjective it must be preceded by verb to be. يعني
Yeah.
بنستخدم صفة بنجيب قبلها verb to be am,
right.
is, are. And after the adjective, if it is followed by, for example, a preposition like on or interested in, we must follow it by verb plus ing. ودي طبعا عايزين ننبه أبنائنا الطلاب إن دي مهمة جدا إن أنا أستخدم interested أو keen on instead of like.
Yeah.
طب Mr. Safwat, now we have finished discussing how to make a suggestion, how to respond positively, and how to respond negatively. اللي هو اتعلمنا الاقتراح والموافقة والرفض. Now let's move to a grammar rule which is found in unit 3, which is how to use the present perfect simple. The present perfect simple. You know, Mr. Safwat, when we study any tense, we concentrate on different points. The first point is the form.
The form, yeah.
Of the tense. So the present perfect simple, how can we form, Mr. Safwat, a sentence in the present perfect?
Yeah, first of all, the present perfect simple is an important tense.
Yes.
We have to take care of the form of it and the uses of this tense. So let's write the form. Let's write the title of the tense, the present perfect tense. The present perfect simple. Okay, how do we usually form the present perfect simple? We must use have or has, followed by the past participle of the verb. What do we mean by the past participle? The past participle is the third conjugation of the verb, the third form of the verb. Okay, but
Mr. Safwat, how can we form the past participle? Because we wanted to make it easy to our students.
Yeah, that's a very important question. To form the present participle, or sorry, the past participle,
yes.
we have two ways. First one is we have to look at the verb to find whether it is regular or irregular. Okay, if it is a regular verb, we add d, ed, or ied.
Yes.
It depends on the end of the verb. So we usually add ed, but if the verb ends in e, we add only d. But if the verb ends in y preceded by a consonant, we usually omit the y and put ied.
Yes.
Okay? This is concerning the regular verbs.
Regular verbs.
But what about the irregular verbs? We must memorize the verbs, these verbs. So these verbs are irregular. Why do we mean by irregular? Irregular means that we cannot apply the rule on them. We cannot add d, or ied to these verbs.
We must learn them by heart.
Yeah, that's right.
This is the only way to learn the irregular verbs.
Yes.
And I think that as we طبعا students of third year prep يعني learned many verbs in the previous years. يعني درسنا أفعال كتير في السنين اللي فاتت. So in third year prep we must have a lot of verbs in our minds. يعني المفروض بقى يبقى عندنا حصيلة كبيرة جدا من irregular verbs. So Mr. Safwat, now we have two forms for the past participle. يبقى عندنا شكلين للpast participle.
Yes.
One of them is like the past simple يعتبر بقى يعني زي الماضي اللي هو the third conjugation of the verb plus اللي هو the form of the verb is d, ed or ied.
Yeah.
The second which is very important is the irregular verbs اللي هي الأفعال اللي بنقول بقى لازم نحفظ منها كتير جدا. For example we have go, went, gone, see, saw, seen,
yeah.
Take, took, taken, write, wrote, written, send, sent, and so on.
Yeah.
So this is the form, Mr. Safwat, of the present perfect.
Perfect. Yes. We have to know that have is used with the subject pronouns I, they, we, you, and all plural nouns.
Yes.
But has is used with he, she, it, and singular.
Yes, this is important.
Okay. This is very important. This is a form of the present perfect simple.
What about the keywords بقى?
Okay, before we deal with the keywords, we want to talk about the uses of the present perfect.
The uses, yes.
Okay, it's very important. So the first use is that, number one, we use the present perfect simple to talk about an action that is started in the past and continued up to the present. An action started in the past and continued up to the present. So the present perfect connects two tenses.
Yes.
The past and
the present.
The present.
Yes,
yes, that's right. So if I want to talk about actions like that, we have to use the present perfect simple. Okay? For example, if we talk about any supermarket in our neighborhood, the supermarket opened in 2005, for example, and it is still open. So if I want to express that in English, I have to use present perfect. So I have to say the supermarket in our neighborhood has or have? Has, because we're talking about a singular noun. Has. open or opened? Opened, because we must use the past participle of the verb. The past participle of the verb. Okay, so we have to say the supermarket has opened since 2005. 2005. Okay, so again, to talk about actions that started in the past and continued up to the present, we have to use present perfect simple.
So, Mr. Safwat, this example means that the supermarket opened in 2005 and it is still open up till now.
Yes,
يعني ما زال
that's
الشيء
right.
we can say more examples to show this use. For example, we can say, I have learned English. I have learned English for 10 years. I have learned English for 10 years. Or I have learned English since 2005. This example means that I have learned English for 10 years or for 5 years.
For 5 years. Yes.
I think this example, Mr. Safwat, means that I began learning English 5 years ago and I'm still learning it up till now.
Yes, that's right.
This is one of the uses. What about the other uses of the present perfect
Yes.
simple?
We have another similar use, which is we can use the present perfect simple to talk about an action started in the past and finished.
Yes.
Oh, it means that we have to use past simple. No, wait. An action started in the past but finished, but it has its effects in the present.
Yes.
The action started and finished in the past, okay, but it has its what? Its effects.
Yes. تأثير يعني.
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
In the present. So when we want to express that, we have to use present perfect. So for example, if someone, Sally, for example, had an accident 2 months ago, okay, she broke her arm, okay, but her arm still hurts her. So it is still hurts her. So if I want to express that in English, I have to use present perfect simple. Present perfect simple. Why? Because the action started and finished. She had an accident last month or last year, but it has an effect in the present.
Yes.
So we must express that using the present perfect, saying Sally has broken her arm. So let's write this sentence. Sally has broken her arm. Okay, the action is started and finished, but it has an effect in the present.
You mean, Mr. Safwat, that the action itself happened and finished. يعني الحدث وقع وانتهى.
Yeah.
But its effect is still there. ما زال التأثير بتاعه موجود.
Yes, that's right.
So these are two uses of the present perfect. The first one is that an action which began in the past and is still happening in the present. The second use is something which happened and finished, but its effect is still there. اللي هو شيء حدث وانتهى وما زال موجود.
Yeah.
Are there any other uses?
Yeah. We have two other uses. One of them is an action finished a short time ago.
Yes.
An action finished a short time ago. So for example, if I want to express that, we can say I wrote this sentence a short time ago, as you see, Mr. Muhammad.
Yes.
I wrote Sally has broken her arm 1 minute ago. Okay, so the action finished a short time ago. So it's preferable to use present perfect here, not past simple. So we have to say I have just written the sentence. I have just written the sentence. Let's write it. I have just written. I have just written the sentence. Okay.
So with this example, Mr. Safwat means that you wrote the sentence short time ago.
Yeah.
Without leaving this point, Mr. Safwat, I want to give an example which is very important, and I always find it in the exam. When the students are asked to use a just instead of ago, or ago instead of just. I can give you an example by saying, I left home short time ago. I
Yes.
left home short time ago.
I
I left home
left
short time ago.
home
And then you are asked to use just. Mr. Safwat, you know that I left home short time ago. This is a sentence in the past simple.
Yeah, past
Because
simple.
we have left, which is the second conjugation of the verb, تصريف الثاني. And at the end of the sentence, we have a go, which is one of the keywords of the past. Now we are going to use just. This means that we are going to change the tense from the past simple to the present perfect.
Present perfect.
So we
yeah.
must use the form of the tense itself. يعني هنا أنا هغير الجملة من الماضي البسيط للمضارع التام. يبقى لازم أستخدم الفورم. So Mr. Safwat, how can we use just in this sentence to give the same meaning?
Yes, Mr. Muhammad. As you have just said, just is one of the keywords of the present perfect simple. So if I want to use it, I have to form, or I have to put the verb in the present perfect simple. So the verb we have is left. Left is a past form of leave. Okay? And the past form is left. What about the third form, the third conjugation of the verb? It's left too. So leave, left, left. Okay, let's start with the subject. We have I, and then we have to use have, not has, have, I have, and then the past participle of leave, which is left. But where should we put just? Yes, we have to use it, or we have to put it between have or has and the past participle, like this. I have just left home a short time ago. So this is the answer of our sentence, and we have to take care of just.
Yes, Mr. Safwat, but can we omit short time ago? We can
Yes.
omit, yes.
Yes, we have to omit that. Yeah.
Yes, we have
That's
to omit.
right.
So we must say, I have just left home.
Yeah.
I have just left home, and then we omit short time ago, because short
Yes.
time ago is the same meaning of just. يعني
Yeah.
short time ago بتدي نفس معنى. So let's go back to the present perfect simple. We have just mentioned that its form is have or has plus bb. And we have discussed the uses. ناقشنا استخدامات المضارع التام البسيط. واحنا قلنا شيء بدأ ومستمر، شيء بدأ وما زال انتهى وليه تأثير، أو شيء حدث منذ وقت قصير. Now let's talk about the keywords of this tense. We have different keywords which denote the present perfect. في كلمات كتير بتعرفني ال present perfect. عندنا just, already, ever, never, yet, since, for, recently, lately, and so on.
But Mr. Muhammad, we want to discuss the difference between since and for.
Yes.
Okay.
It's
so
very
let's
important.
Let's start with these two keywords.
Yes.
Okay, let's write since firstly. And then for. As you know, Mr. Muhammad, since is usually followed by either a date or a point in time. What do we mean by a point in time? The start of an action. The start of an action. So let's write that. Since is usually followed by either a date or a point in time. A point in time. Or the start of an action. Okay. But for is different. For is usually followed by a period of time.
Yes.
A fixed period of time. So let's write it. Period of time. Period of time. Okay, let's take some examples. If I wanna use since followed by a date, for example, since 2000. Since 2000, it's a date. And I want to give the same meaning using for. How can I say that? Yes, we have to count from 2000 until 2014.
They are 14 years.
Yeah, 14 years. So we have to say for 14 years. Okay. We can say since last week. Last week. If I am requested to use for instead of since, in this case, we have to say for from last week up till this week. We have only 1 week, so we have to say for a week or 1 week. A week, for a week or 1 week. Since last month, for 1 month. Okay, and so on. Since yesterday, since yesterday. What is yesterday? Yesterday is, it isn't a day, but it's a point in time. It's a point in time. Since yesterday, the start of an action was yesterday. So if I want to use for, so we have to say for a day. For a day. Okay. Since sometimes, as you know, can be followed by a phrase, okay, or a sentence. So we can say, since I was born. Since I was born. And this is a very important
A sentence in the past, Mr. صفوت, you mean?
That's right.
Since can be followed by a sentence in the past. يعني ممكن تبقى since بعدها عبارة في الماضي. For example, since I left school, since I was young, since I was a boy, since I was a baby, and so on.
So, as you have just said, Mr. Muhammad, since is usually followed by a sentence, or sometimes can be followed by a sentence. But you have to take care of the tense of this sentence. It must be in the past simple. Since I was born. Past simple. Since I was born. Okay. For can be followed by many different expressions or words. So we can say for a long time, for a short time,
for ages,
for long, and so on. Okay. This is the difference between since and for.
But Mr. صفوت, we wanted to give example like the example which the students find in the exam when they are asked to rewrite the sentence which has since, for example, and they are asked to use for. يعني عايزين نجيب جملة يكون فيها since ونستخدم for. If, for example, I can give you an example, Mr. صفوت. If we say we have lived in Cairo.
We
have lived in Cairo.
Have lived
in Cairo since 1998. And then we are asked to use for. واحنا طبعا بنحب نركز دايما على السؤال rewrite. علشان مستر صفوت طبعا you know that this is a very
Yeah.
important question and I think also it's enjoyable. يعني هو سؤال لذيذ برضو إن أستخدم for
Yes.
بدل since.
But it's difficult somehow, Mr. Muhammad.
Yeah, sometimes.
In this example, we need a mathematician.
So some students ask me, can we take a calculator?
A calculator.
No, I think it's easy. We have lived in Cairo since 1998.
So we have to count a lot.
Yes, so I think they are about 15 years.
Yes.
Or yes, I think they are about 15 years. So the most important thing is that how can we transfer the sentence from since to for. I think we keep the same tense. نحتفظ طبعا بنفس الزمن. We have lived in Cairo.
Yes, let's write it.
Yes, we have lived in Cairo.
We have lived in Cairo.
Then we omit since and put for. طبعا هنحذف since ونستخدم for.
For I think 16 years.
Yes, I think they are 16.
Yeah.
وبعدين بنعمل بقى زي ما مستر صفوت كده بيقول عملية حسابية بسيطة كده ان انا بشوف الفرق بين السنة اللي مذكورة والسنة اللي موجود احنا فيها حاليا. فطبعا هيبقى حوالي 16 years. We have lived in Cairo for 16 years. طب مستر صفوت I remember another example which is to use for instead of ago.
Instead of ago.
Yes. For example, we can say I last saw.
I
last saw Mr. Sobhi a week ago. I think this is very important. We can use for.
Yes, for.
Yes.
It's a very good example.
Yes.
Okay.
طبعا مستر صفوت الجملة دي في الباست simple. I last saw. We have the verb saw and we have the words last.
Yeah.
And at the end of the sentence we have the word ago. I last saw Mr. صبحي a week ago يعني بتبقى معناها آخر مرة شفت مستر صبحي أو شفت someone a week ago.
So I have, I think we have to change the sentence completely here.
Yes. So
Okay.
Mr. Safat, please answer this example.
Okay. So as you see here, we have the subject pronoun I. So we have to write it. And then last is one of the words that we usually use in the past simple. So the sentence is no longer past here. So we have to omit last. And then we have to form this verb, or we have to put this verb in the present perfect. So how can we put it in the present perfect? We have to put either have or has. So we must use have, I have, and then the past participle of so is seen, I have seen, I have seen Mr. Subhi, I have seen Mr. Subhi for a week. But wait, the sentence is in the present perfect, okay, but the meaning is not
correct.
Yeah, correct. So to give a correct meaning here, we have to negate the sentence.
Yes, this is a very important point.
Yeah. So I have to say I haven't seen Mr. Subhi for a week. So we have to put not here. So don't forget to do that. I have not seen Mr. Subhi for a week, or I haven't seen Mr. Subhi for a
هو
week.
طبعا Mr. Safat, thank you for this good answer, and I think that this sentence has different points. The first thing is that we change the tense from the past to the present perfect.
Yeah.
يعني بنغير زمن الماضي للمضارع التام.
Yes.
The second point is that we put into consideration the meaning. يعني نحط في اعتبارنا المعنى. لما اقول انا اخر مره شفت مستر صفوت من اسبوع، يعني معناه ان انا ما شفتوش بقالي اسبوع.
Yes, that's right.
فبالتالي we must negate the sentence. لازم ننفي الجمله. فبالتالي مش لو قلتها in the affirmative form في الاثبات هيبقى المينينج not correct.
Yes, that's
يعني
right.
ما ينفعش اقول I have seen Mr. صفوت for a week. I haven't seen Mr. صفوت or Mr. صبحي for a week. I think by this way the meaning is correct. So Mr. صفوت, I think we covered the point of since, for and ago. يعني ناقشنا since, for and ago. طبعا احنا عارفين ان الماضي المضارع التام برضو مستر صفوت كنا عايزين نناقش بقى نقطة تانية في ري رايت برضو. For example, when I say I didn't play football, I didn't play football. I didn't play football a month ago. I didn't play football a month ago. This sentence is in the negative form. If we are asked to use since, Mr. Safat, we are asked to use since.
Okay.
What do you think about this sentence, Mr. Safat?
Yeah, it's a good sentence.
Yes, thank you.
And as we have said, Mr. Muhammad, since is one of the keywords of the present perfect. So we have to take care of the tense we are going to form. Okay, so I didn't play football a month ago. And we are requested to use since. So we have to start with the subjective pronoun I, as the subjective pronoun we have here. And then we have to put this verb in the present perfect. So I must use have. Okay, but you have to take care of the verb here. The verb here is in the negative form, so we have to negate this one. I haven't. So I must say I haven't played. I haven't played present perfect. Why played? Because the form of the present perfect is have or has plus a past participle, and play is a regular verb, so we have to put ed. So I haven't played football since and then we have to put the start of an action, but it will be difficult, or we cannot get a point in time. If we use last month, it will be correct. Is it right, Mr. Muhammad?
Yes.
So we have to omit ago,
Yes.
and then put last since last month. Okay, it has another answer, by the way, but I think this one is easier.
It's يعني common for students.
Yeah.
I haven't played football since last month, and now we have used a point of time after since.
Yes.
As you have just mentioned, Mr. Safat, that after since we use dates and points of time.
Yeah.
So when we say I haven't played football since last month, this means that I began stopping. I didn't play football a month ago. طب Mr. Safat, now we have finished discussing the present perfect simple. We discussed the form, the keywords, and the uses. يعني ناقشنا كل شيء متعلق بالpresent perfect simple. Mr. Safat, you know that this year students are asked in the exam to write a letter. So write a letter. يعني طبعا عارفين ان احنا عندنا سؤال بيقول لي اكتب خطاب. And I think this is a very important point to learn how to write a letter.
Yeah.
In the exam students are given some information. لازم نعرف ان يبقى في عندي معلومات في السؤال موجودة وانا بستخدمها. Like the name of the sender, the name of the receiver, and also the ideas which I'm going to write about. يبقى عندي اسم اللي هيبعت واسم اللي هيوصل اليه الخطاب والايدياز الافكار اللي هتكلم عنها. Also we have the address العنوان اللي بستخدمه. But the most important thing about the letter Mr. Safwat is that how can we put a layout for the letter. يعني ازاي نعمل تنظيم لللتر بحيث ان اللتر يكون في شكل منظم. So Mr. Safwat, we must tell our students that the first step of writing the letter is that we write the address and the date. أول خطوة بكتب الأدرس العنوان والتاريخ. وطبعا the address and the date, the address is given in the question. يعني العنوان بيبقى موجود عندي في السؤال. But the date is not given in the question. إن في مستر صفوت طلبة بينسوا الديت التاريخ وبيقول أصل أنا ما لقيتوش في السؤال. فطبعا عايزين برضو to remind our dear students that the date is not given in the question. They are given the address. We know that the address is the address formed by writing the number of the house, name of the street. يعني أول ما بكتب العنوان بكتب على right side on the top of the page أعلى الصفحة بكتب على اليمين name of the street and the number of the house. For example, 15 أحمد عرابي street, 20 أحمد عصمت street, and so on. Under that we write the city, the name of the city. For example, Giza, Cairo, Alexandria, and so on. And then we can write Egypt if the letter is sent abroad. يعني لو الجواب خارج البلاد أكتب Egypt. If it's not sent abroad, we can يعني only write the name of the city. Then we write the date, any date يعني and it's better to write the date of the day itself. بكتب تاريخ اليوم. Then from the left side بعد ما بكتب بقى الجزء ده على اليمين اللي هو العنوان والتاريخ we move to the left side and write dear and then the name of the receiver. بكتب دي اللي هو دير واسم المتلقي الخطاب دير مستر صفوت دير أحمد and so on. We can begin the letter by writing some sentence. Mr. صفوت تعرف عندنا في جمل بنبدأ بيها زيك how are you, I'm very happy to write you this letter, it gives me much pleasure to send you this letter. Then we write the body نكتب بقى موضوع and then we finish the letter by writing some words like best wishes and see you soon and then we end the letter by signing our names. بنكتب بقى في الاخر الختام. وطبعا مستر صفوت الليتر هيكون ليه معانا حلقات وحلقات اخرى وعندنا الباراجراف والايميل لان لازم كلنا ان شاء الله على دخول الامتحان نكون عارفين ازاي نكتب الليتر والايميل والباراجراف. مستر صفوت طبعا النهارده ناقشنا نقط كتير جدا ومهمه. مستر صفوت احنا اتعرفنا النهارده على making suggestion تقديم الاقتراحات
and the present perfect simple.
Yes.
And how to write a letter.
How to write a letter.
Orally.
And Mr. Safwat, we promise our dear students that next episode we are going to discuss writing the letter. Mr. Safwat, at the end of our episode today, I was very happy to be with you, Mr. Safwat.
Me too, Mr. Muhammad.
And thank you for your good explanation and good examples. Our dear students, now we come to the end of our episode today. We have presented the present perfect, writing a letter, making a suggestion, and unit 3. So till we meet again, goodbye and good luck.